Hi, my name's Jonathan Hicks. I'm back at the Dice Cup, and this evening I'm joined by Steve. And we've just finished playing Crokinole, which is a dexterity game essentially. You have a bunch of these discs, and you can play it sort of 2 or 4 player. But generally you play it 2 player. You can see Steve has the red discs over here. And you're trying to score points by flicking the discs into the centre essentially. So if there's nothing on the board like this, Steve might try and flick one of his discs in, and he starts anywhere in that quarter and tries to flick it into the middle. And if he gets it in the middle, which is quite tricky to do actually, then you sort of take it out and put it in this pot, and that will score him 20 points at the end of the game. So then it's my turn, and I try and flick one into the middle, and I didn't get it in the middle, but not only that, I didn't get it in the centre section. You have to get it in the centre section, otherwise it gets knocked off. So then it's Steve's go, and he tries to flick one in, and he gets it on the line, so that kind of counts as being in the middle. So then it's my go, but because one of his is on the board, I now have to hit it with my disc, which is quite tricky, particularly if I'm trying to do this left-handed. So I flick, and I hit it, but mine went off. So now it'll be his go again, and he just has to try and get it into the middle, really. So we keep kind of flicking like this, but again, the tricky thing is when there's another person's piece on the board, you've got to hit their piece, otherwise your piece just gets removed from the board. So at the end of the game, you're going to have pieces scattered around in various areas. As I say, you're getting 20 points for everyone you manage to get in the centre when it's removed. Any that are in this area are worth 15 points. If it's on the line, it moves to the next area out. So these are worth 10 points in this central section here. And if it's in the outer section, they're only worth 5 points. So it's the difference, effectively, that gives you the final score. So they would sort of cancel each other out. So, oops. And you work out how many more, in this case Steve's going to have than me, and that'll be final score. And you sort of play several rounds. It's the first person to 100 usually wins the game. What do we think?
I think it's fantastic. It's a game I've highly raved about, mainly because you see it at expos and someone's demoing it, and you sit down, you play a game, and you think, ooh, you carry on. It's a bit like you just want to play it again and again and again. You get used to flicking it. You get into kind of like the zone where you can get it in the middle straight away without pieces on the board, and just being in that sort of thing, I really like. I think there are tactics to it, especially in a 2-player game, where the more you play against a certain other person, you can try and leave it in difficult spots. So there are certain spots on the board if you can leave it behind these 2 pegs, for example. So if I have a piece here and there's no other piece on the board, it's very hard for Jonathan to hit that and knock it off the board. So he might be able to hit it, but if he comes from this direction, he'll only clip it and his piece might go off and mine might stay on. And if that's the case, if Jonathan can't hit it, I'm going to get a free shot at the centre. So not necessarily you always trying to get it as the highest scoring points possible. You're sometimes trying to knock theirs off so they get fewer points, or trying to get yours in difficult positions.
Rating?
It's fantastic, 9 out of 10.
Wow, okay. Yeah, it's a very simple idea. You're basically just flicking discs into the middle, and you think that might get a bit boring after a while, but somehow it doesn't. It's a really engaging game. It's hard to convey just by explaining how it works, how much fun it is, but I do really enjoy it, like Steve says. It does, I mean, it's a dexterity game. You're definitely going to get better with practice. I've seen Steve spend a lot of time just flicking, trying to get those shots into the middle, and he's become very good at it now. Certainly a lot better than me. But it's very interesting when there's quite a few discs on the middle. You can kind of go for these slightly harder shots, and the discs can go all over the place. The situation can change very quickly, so you can feel like, oh, I'm miles behind. But you get a sort of lucky shot in, it knocks 3 of theirs off the board and yours stays on, and suddenly all your fortunes have changed. So I really like the way it can switch quite quickly, but does very much reward skill and practice. So I think it's superb. I'd be on an 8.5, I think, for this kind of game. All right, thanks very much. That was Crokinole.